Well, hello everybody. Thank you for thank you. Well, hopefully those of you that are here are starting to make new friends and starting to enjoy what this event is all about. We had a nice lunch served to us by the Oracle Community Center, so we want to thank them for that. Yep. Also, I wanted to introduce Mike Wiesner, who's going to stand in for David Levy. David, for those of you that were not here very early, David did come on and give a nice poetic reading. And he may be able to do that at other parts of this event, but for now, we're going to introduce Mike Wiesner. And Mike's the reason why I'm here at this particular event. Mike and I have been friends for a long time, maybe going on 30 years or so, and he is an important and very active defender of dark skies. He helped establish the Oracle State Park as the first state park that was a dark sky place by the International Dark Sky Association. And he's always there to give other people and communities and organizers advice on how to preserve their dark skies. If you've read anything about some of the latest information about how nature needs dark skies, you'll find that we could preserve millions upon millions of birds by having intelligent lighting, less bird strikes on buildings. People would have less anxiety, less, all kinds of things. They keep finding out about the psychological wellness, the just basic human health, and health of all kinds of species on Earth, you know. So for a long, long, long time, you know, this 24-hour cycle of darkness and brightness has been important to us, and just to light it up all the time so that we can see everywhere at any time is kind of unnatural. And so we need to be a little bit smarter about that. But I'm going to turn this over to Mike. Thank you for coming, and here we go.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time. A little bit of the history of our friendship. Back in 1996, I bought a little dinky telescope from this company called Mead Instruments, little ETX. I fell in love with it when I saw it in the store. I bought it. I immediately started taking astrophotos through it, with a little handheld digital camera. I said, I've got to tell other people about this telescope because it is just so awesome for the price. Put up a website, one of the very first telescope-oriented websites in 1996. That website got me introductions into Mead, and Scott was very supportive of what I was doing. All of Mead was very supportive. People call up tech support at Mead with an ETX question. They couldn't answer it in the tech support. Go to Wiesner's website. So I was getting all kinds of inputs and technical questions, and just such a great support for the worldwide community of ETX users. And that was just really awesome. So visited Scott many times down in his office down in Irvine, where Mead was at the time, and we became good friends at that time. Little did I realize when I left California in 2007, after being told my boss couldn't afford me anymore. We'd already bought our land here in Oracle by that point in time, so bye, thank you very much. So we moved to Oracle in 2009. We got our house built, we got my observatory built, just about 2 miles that direction. Then I looked down on that Ford dealership, if you've seen the Ford dealership as you came up the highway. But so Scott and I have had this very long-term relationship, but then he left me. And he talked a little bit about that this morning. And he formed this company called Explorer Scientific. Well, I'd known that Scott was very big into doing public outreach. I mean, that was one of his primary functions as a vice president at Mead. And so I loved what he was doing because I was doing kind of the similar things with my telescope website, with the star parties that I would go to. I had a bunch of groupies actually that would follow me wherever I was because they owned the ETX telescopes. They would come and because I was having a star party. So I was very big into this, doing in the public outreach as well. Well, got here settled in Oracle in 2009 and just being out here under this beautiful night sky. And so one night in February of 2014, I'm out there in my observatory. It's a clamshell dome, so I'm sitting over there, kind of just leaning on the wall, looking up in the sky. Oh yeah, I can see Triangulum Galaxy up there with my naked eye. This is cool. And I did another little test. Yeah, I can see a 7th magnitude star. Yeah, we got dark skies here. So I'm an International Dark Sky Association member. And I said, International Dark Sky Association has an International Dark Sky Places program. I wonder if they would be interested in having Oracle State Park, 4 miles from my house, getting designated as an International Dark Sky Park. So I contacted a guy that was at IDA at the time. They're headquartered in Tucson, in case you don't know. And in case you don't know, a co-founder of IDA is right here, Tim Hunter. Raise your hand, Tim. So we thank him for doing that 30 some odd years ago. So I contacted this guy that I had actually met in Mount Palomar on one of the events out there when I still lived in California. And he said, oh boy, would we love to have an International Dark Sky Park in our backyard. Never been up to Oracle, don't know how dark your skies are, but hey, this was Tucson area, southern Arizona, all the professional observatories, you probably have dark skies. So yeah, we would absolutely love to have you get an International Dark Sky Park. So met with the park management, met with the Friends of Oracle State Park, we'll hear a little bit more about later, and everybody said, yes, let's do this thing. we're so excited because we have dark skies here. It's absolutely a perfect complement to what Oregon State Park does. The full name of Oregon State Park is Oregon State Park Center for Environmental Education. And when you drive out to the park, you'll see the sign there at the main gate that says that full name. Well, also take a look and do your photo ops, because right under that is a sign that says IDA International Dark Sky Park, which I designed to make it look like it really belonged with the design of the other part. So we had our meetings, and at the time, when from conception to ultimate approval by the IDA Board of Directors, we had the record for the fastest. We submitted the application within 3 months of starting our meetings, and 3 months later, the Board of Directors of IDA met and then approved our application. So we became, as Scott said, the first park in the Arizona State Park system to become an international dark sky park. Right now, there's only one under, which is Karchner Caverns, down east of Tucson, and many of you know about that place. And so they have my sign in metal up on their wall. So anyway, so this community of Oracle loves its dark sky heritage. So after we got the designation in 2014, we started talking with various people around the community, businesses, residents, longtime residents, new residents, and starting to pitch this idea of becoming an IDA International Dark Sky Community. Well, in 2019, that reached a low-level fever pitch to let's start doing the effort. But then the pandemic hit. So we couldn't do anything for now, a couple of years. As a result of this event, the community sport that you're seeing, and we'll see more this week, we are now gone beyond the fever pitch. We are going to pursue an International Dark Sky Community designation. The committee, we're starting to pull some of the pieces together. We're hoping to get it kicked off before the end of the year, certainly by early next year. And this community is going to become an International Dark Sky Community. And so having this event here with Scott is just a dream come true for me. When he called me last October and said, yeah, we'd had previous conversations, but yeah, I want to do it in Oracle the next time. So, all right, I got my event. So we thank Scott and Explore Scientific for just putting on what's going to be an incredible week for you, other than the weather. But while you're here, enjoy our monsoons. If you were here in town last night, you saw a beautiful lightning show. And a little bit of rain. We may get more rain tonight.
Giant nebula.
Yeah, think of it that way. But anyway, so this community really endorses, it's like I said, it's dark sky heritage. And you're going to experience a little bit of that this week, even with the clouds. I just want to kind of give you that background. You'll hear more about the park in a bit, and more about the friends, and more about the community from somebody that we kind of think of as our de facto mayor. We're an unincorporated community, so we don't have any local politicians really. We have county politicians. But this person that you're going to hear from, she has been an awesome aspect of pulling the community into this event. And they wanted to do it anyway. And in fact, 2 other locations, the star parties on Friday night, said, hey, we're not part of your official locations, but we're going to do it anyway. So that's the kind of community that you're now part of, and we thank you for being here. Second thing I want to talk about. Some of you are probably wondering what this is. Does anybody know? Anyone to make a guess?
You're being like Galileo?
Had lots of votes for Galileo. That's wrong. Thank you.
I voted for Copernicus, but
That's wrong. Any others?
Copernicus?
That's wrong.
Franklin. Is it colonial?
Copernicus?
We'll get, okay. No, okay. So to move on from time constraints.
Close?
So back in 1994, I met this lady who is now my wife out in Southern California. Like me, she's a big science fiction fan. She personally knows authors like Larry Niven, Jerry Pournelle, Robert Silverberg, a whole bunch of other those classical names that some of you may be familiar with. I've actually been to parties at Larry Niven's house. So anyway, so one of the things that surprised me about the science fiction fandom is that many of those fans are big into what's called Regency dancing. Well, Regency is the period of time back around the 1700s over in England where they dressed like this. And so my wife says, you've got to get a Regency outfit to take to the Regency balls. And these Regency balls are a big thing with hundreds of people showing up. They're pretty exotic events. So you've got to get a costume that's a Regency outfit. And I said, no, I'm not into that. I wasn't big into dancing anyway. No, I'm not going to do that. You got to do something. So finally, I relented a little bit and said, okay, if I can find a design through a portrait of some famous astronomer back around the 1700s, then I'll go ahead and get a costume. Well, I found a portrait of a certain person whose name will be familiar to you. One of her friends is actually a costumer for Hollywood, does movies and TV shows. So I took this picture, this artist's picture of this astronomer to her, and she said, yeah, I can do something that'll probably match up pretty closely. And that's what this outfit is. Anybody heard of William Herschel? So there, if you look online, you will find a color photograph, a color artist portrait. And you'll find a kind of this little dicky and some other stuff, and it looks very, very close to this. So she made that for me, and I don't wear it very often, but it was appropriate to wear today to kick this thing off. So you're getting a thrill. So last little thrill for you. So last little thrill for you. Over on the table, they're selling my autobiography. So just a brief history about this autobiography, not about me. When I read David Levy's autobiography, I could not believe many of the similarities in our lives. And I said, maybe I should write my autobiography. Not that I'm putting myself up to compare to David Levy, but so many people through my websites, my observatory work, my public outreach, they said they want to know more about me. I said, well, no, I'm not interested in telling you so much about me, but I want to tell you about your lives. I want this book, my autobiography, to be a guide, roadmap for your children, for your grandchildren. And oh, by the way, if you're my age, this could be a justification that you made the right decisions through your life. Because my life, as you can read in this book, had all kinds of ups and downs, successes, major failures. I started out this way, I went that way, then this way, then that way, and ended up doing a lot of very interesting things. On the back cover is a jet fighter that I flew in the Air Force. So yeah, I'm astrophysics degree, jet fighter pilot, doing all this amateur astronomy stuff. I've had a pretty interesting life. And that's all detailed here in the book. Not to tell you about me, but to tell you about you and what you could be and what your children could be. So they're selling the book over there. Proceeds from the book support this event. Okay. If we run out of books here, then Friends of Oracle State Park will also be selling some either here or out at the park later on this week. So if you are so inclined and you want to buy this, fine. I will not feel offended if you don't want my autograph, because guess what? In all of those science fiction authors that I would go meet, did I ever ask them for autographs? No, because I was not big into autographs. Do I regret it a little bit now? Yeah, because some of them have passed away, unfortunately. But I can assure you that if you do read this book, you will enjoy it. At least I hope. Pretty sure you will enjoy it. I hope you do. That's the feedback I've gotten. It's an easy read. I had one person up here in Oracle who bought it, said she couldn't put it down that night. She read the whole thing that night. So it's a pretty easy read, chronicling my life from birth to basically right now. So anyway, I think I'm done. So
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so up next is someone that I've got to meet and have great admiration for, and becoming friends with Vince McAuliffe. He is the manager of the Oracle State Park and another fighter for Dark Skies, and so is extremely enthusiastic about the astronomical community and all the stuff that we're doing. But he's worked hard for a number of years in getting to this point, and so we're happy to do what little bit we can to support them, and we hope to continue to do it year after year. So, Vince, you want to take the stage? Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, thank you. Yes, well, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? Good. Good? Belly's full? Yes. Smiles on your face? All good stuff. I'm not here to spend a lot of time with you because you're mine tomorrow. First thing in the morning, you're going to be coming over to Oracle State Park. As Scott said, I am the park manager there, and so one of the things I wanted to be able to do, instead of be here and tell you about Oracle State Park, is to have you there and give you a tour of the Canale Ranch House and some of the grounds and that around the Canale Ranch House. How many people have been there before? Okay. Have you taken tours before? Yeah. No? Okay. So one tour that you may not have done is there's cottages back behind the house. Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow. But just teaser today on the fact that tomorrow we'll split up into a couple different groups. One at 9, I believe the other one's at 9:30. Okay. But my whole reason to be here today is just to say thank you and welcome. I've been the park manager here since it reopened on a full-time basis. So going on to
Which happened because we got the International Dark Sky Park designation.
That's right. And so I've been there for about 6 years, and that's why they wanted to get this thing going full-time. And it had everything to do with basically star parties. The star parties and the events themselves just kept rolling based on that designation. And you're going to see it tomorrow. The fact that if you get the opportunity, first thing tomorrow in the evening, to be able to see the dark sky, it is truly dark. And simply because the mountains shield all the lights from Tucson. And that's the beautiful part of that. To tell you a little bit about, it's a 4,000-acre park. There are 24 miles of trails that are used quite frequently by equestrians, mountain bike enthusiasts, and hikers alike. And it seems like every activity that's there, anybody that's there for a particular thing, that if they stay a little bit longer for an event and it happens to be dark out, that's something that's going to make the rest of their day and they're going to tell everybody about. So that's what I hope you all get to enjoy while you're here. And so again, to thank you for being here, to welcome you here. Oracle State Park is that hidden gem that if you go to another state park, whether it's in this state or another state, you'll have something to compare it to, truly. One of the things, because you guys are going to get to ask me a lot of questions tomorrow, so I wanted to kind of end with what, as far as people coming from within this room, who has driven the farthest to get here?
Driven or flown?
Doesn't matter. Well, yeah.
I think I'm still in the van, but I...
Because you have to beat the guys from Arkansas. So.
Well, it's pretty close.
I came from Canada.
Did you? Yeah. That's pretty far. Yeah.
Went to California. We drove.
Right.
Somebody's here from Virginia. Who was it? They left?
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Somebody from Virginia's here.
And he's just buying a home up in Oracle. He just signed a contract yesterday.
Ah, okay. So I mean, as far as how long, who's been an enthusiast of the stars the longest here? Okay. Yes?
Well, I'm the oldest.
And she started when she was 20. So, okay, well, I save your questions up for me tomorrow when we're going through the house
and throughout the park. If you have questions about anything that's going to come up tomorrow's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a long day. And I'm going to be there to be able to help you answer any questions that you have and what have you. But I will say this, the fact that when Mike came to me and said, Vince, we got this group that's just phenomenal, Explore Scientific, you got to meet Scott. This would be a great opportunity for Oracle. And I said, I'm guessing, it was highly guessing that it had to do with dark skies. And sure enough, it was. And when he explained it and talked about it, and this is before you and I got to meet, I was on board right at that time, because I know, as Mike said earlier, park being an environmental education center, it's also a wildlife refuge. And so I know just from the rains that we've had, we provide a lot of different things for the animals there and the people using the park and what have you. So I understand where that enrichment for kids of all different ages can enjoy that. And that's really kind of what got me involved in the Parks and Recreation and parks for the last 34 years that I've been part of it. This is a remarkable community, and you're going to find out that that community that supports the park and that makes the park such a unique park, something you'll probably enjoy the rest of your life, just to be able to have been here. So I thank you very much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Vince. That's great. Up next is Deborah Gaines, and Deborah leads the Friends of Oracle State Park, of Oracle, I guess, is the official name. Now, we wanted to do something a little bit more than just astronomy and dark skies, and that is, it's a fabulous thing to get involved with and all the rest of it, but we wanted to make it festive too. So we wanted to include the arts, we wanted to include music, we wanted to include food, okay, and to really celebrate it. And Deborah and Alicia have made that possible. So Deborah's up first, so thank you.
Well, hi everybody. This seems like a really good microphone. Do I need to speak louder? Usually it's like,
It's speaking out to the world.
Okay,
so you're
good.
being live
Good.
simulcast on
Oh, hello, there I am.
multiple channels, so.
Anyway, I'm the president of Friends of Oracle State Park. There's a lot of things that I want to say. I'm really excited, and just as Mike was speaking, I just realized that he's brought a lot of people together. I've gotten to know Mike better, Vince better, Alicia, and we all have our own specific interest, and it's just been fun to see us all come together. But the Friends group first started in 1997. It was the first Friends group in Arizona, and the Canale family who came here in 1902, the first brother came here. They bought where the park is now, and then they bought 78 sections of land and were ranchers. And I was just kind of brushing up on that, and Kent and I were talking about climate change and stuff. And they really cut back on their ranching like in the 30s and sold off a lot of the property to the BHP mine, which is near the town of San Manuel. And anyway, so what it is now, the 4,000 acres, is what they were living on for the last few decades that the family was there. There were 7 siblings that lived there, and the house is a kind of revival Mediterranean. You'll see that tomorrow. And Lucy Canale died in 1976. She was the last living Canale, and she left the property to the Defenders of Wildlife. And she also left enough money to support that for 10 years. And at the end of that time, in 1986, Defenders of Wildlife felt they couldn't really maintain it. But it is a wildlife refuge. And so the state park took it over. And partly the reason I'm telling you that is because for about 10 years before the park opened officially, the community really gathered around the park. They were excited about it. They developed a kids program, which during the pandemic, the kids program kind of went in decline, but we're working on that. And so, but it's always been a real center of this town, and people from Saddlebrook and Oracle hasn't grown that much, but there were times when everything revolved around Oracle State Park. They had music events, just a lot of activity. Different times the Friends group has been more active, having parties and things out there. We have a really great board right now. I'm the president. Our vice president is Roger Bailey. He's from San Diego. He's managed huge nonprofits, and he makes sure that we do everything right, even though we're a really small nonprofit Friends group. And Mike Carroll is our treasurer, who he comes from tech, and he's actually kind of keeps us technologically up to date with our accounting and all that. And then our secretary is David Singleton. Anyway, and Mike Wiesner is a member. And actually a lot of the town are part of the Friends of Oracle State Park because they love the park. And just as everyone was talking about the dark skies, we really do support that. The town supports it, and I could go on about my interests as a native plant enthusiast, naturalist. I'm really a generalist, but it's kind of perfect because it really does all tie together. I take pictures of spiders, birds. I'm supporting the, the Mexican nectar bats that are coming up here are drinking like 6 cups of sugar water every night at my house. They'll be leaving soon because that's just too much. But it really does tie together. So I have been working with Mike and Alicia. We are trying to do more separate from the Friends group, but as a community to support the dark skies. And so the only other thing I want to mention is that what we do is to support the park. The Friends is there to support the park. When they first became a Friends group, they were doing, historic restoration. They've done everything you can think of. I think they purchased, or at least helped purchase, the toilets that you'll see that are better than what they had before. And so along with the park manager, Vince McAuliffe, we try to see what the park needs. And so, the donations are intended to all go back to the park. In the case of the Star Party, we're supporting the music and some of the speakers. We did, last year we had a big project that people really liked. We rebuilt this wildlife viewing area. It was called a wildlife blind, but that kind of connotates hunters. But if you take the nature trail, you'll see the wildlife blind. We had a fundraiser. We raised $15,000, and we had local builders, fortunately, that we were able to connect with. We've got some really great people right here in town. And it's really sort of an attraction. It's a place to take pictures. Architecturally, it's really pretty and simple. The guy who did the flagstone, and he did the original flagstone in the 80s for Defenders of Wildlife, plus the flagstone all around this building. But he's sort of a local legend in himself. And so we had him redo that. And there's a water hole down there that you can watch wildlife, but it's a kind of a photo opportunity. You have your friends sit there and take a picture, and it looks really cool. But so we're going to be doing some other projects. kind of, there are projects in the historic building that are in decline, and we're looking at all kinds of stuff. We're going to hopefully start a couple other big projects pretty soon. And of course, we're always supporting the dark skies. So I didn't even know I would be able to speak this much. But, it is a place that's really loved by this community. I have been in Oracle 20 years. I moved up here when I was working for Pinal County. And if you want to meet a real desert rat, I was born in Tucson. Even years ago, people's like, oh, I never met anybody who was born here. So you're meeting one. I was just telling Kent, I'm in it. Climate change, whatever. I'm in it for the desert. I'm water harvesting. I'm doing native plants. I'm sticking with it. They say we're in deep trouble, but, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm going, so. Anyway, does anybody have any questions about the Friends group? Kent? Oh, thank you, Kent. So there is a bird walk Friday morning at 6:30. Kathy Anderson is with Audubon. We left it open just for people who are registered because we want to make sure everybody had room. We have plenty of room. I asked people to email me at Friends of Oracle State Park, or you could just tell Kent. And if you show up Friday at 6:30 a.m. at the park gate, it may look locked, but we'll be able to get in there, and I'll be out there. Kent will be out there. And it's really a wonderful way to get to know the park. She is limiting it to 12. We don't have that many yet, but it's a nice peaceful way to explore the park a little, and there is bird migration right now, so we could be in for some surprises.
We're meeting at 6:30.
6:30 a.m.
At the Canal Ranch House.
Yeah, and if they come up to the gate and it's locked, just wait and somebody will come. But if it's open, just drive up to the ranch house, yeah.
The other thing is, if you didn't bring binoculars, that's okay, because you know a guy that did.
Yeah. And I want to see those myself. I'm a birder, amateur birder. I do so much habitat restoration in my own yard. I usually just sit there and look out for stuff. And Vince will probably talk more about this, but I really, the schedule is really great, and it does encompass a lot. Like the geology trail hike at 11 on Saturday is really amazing. Tom Buckley was been working with Vince, and I lived here a long time, and you're driving around Oracle and you see all these giant granite boulders. I mean, this is some of the most amazing geology in the world. I mean, there's even, I think it's called Pinal schist. That's like some of the oldest rock that's on the surface of the earth. And Tom, working with Vince, is just amazing. So the geology walk at 11 is really amazing. Joel Diamond doing the bat presentation at 5. He's been a local favorite for years. He hasn't been up here in a long time. And then the music is great, both music events. So Friends did sponsor the music. I think I might have said that. But so we'll be set up just to say hi. And if you're interested in donating to Friends, we have ways to do that. But thank you very much. And so far, it's been really a pleasure to work with everybody. We did a lot of Zooms. I didn't do as many Zooms as some people, but skipped out on a couple. But it's great to see everybody in person and really have fun. It's supposed to be clear Saturday. Like I said, I'm a true desert rat, so I want more rain. So sorry about that, but Saturday is going to be clear, so have a great time. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Oh, you want to say something else?
Well, only that I have to take my dog to the vet, so I'm going to leave.
Oh, okay.
Scott, one thing.
Yes.
We're going to have our night vision, our thermal
Oh,
night
yeah.
vision after
Yeah, yeah.
Friday night. That's water.
Yeah, Explore Scientific has developed a thermal imaging device. It's handheld. I'm sorry it's expensive. It's like $2,000 or something for one of these things. But the thing that's so cool about it is that we're going to be able to look down on that watering hole, on that pavilion that they were talking about. We're going to mount them up on tripods and let you guys look at the wildlife that'll come in at night. And so this is going to be really, really cool. The contrast and color assignments that are built into the device are really amazing. And it's probably one of the coolest tools that we have in the office. We have our customer service reps doing things like sitting like on a wall like that and walking away, and then you can still see the outline of where they were and stuff. So
You can't hide behind a tree, your gloves.
no, and we took a picture of one of our containers, just a regular container that came in, and the difference between the temperature of the stuff inside versus the outside, we could see how many boxes were inside this container. So it's a pretty cool device. If you like visual things, electronic things, you're gonna love this. Anyhow,
What time is that gonna start? Are you gonna set those up? What time is that?
It'll be Friday before sunset.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all Friday.
yeah, but it works best in the dark, of course. So
But if you're up hanging around the trailers, there's been enough here with
just follow Ken around. He'll make sure you get hooked up. So, again, this whole experience has been just really, really wonderful. It's been great to see people I haven't seen in a long time. It's great to see people that I've just talked to on the phone, and old friends, that I get to see regularly. But astronomy, one of the things I want to say about our community, it's one of the greatest communities in the world. You can travel anywhere in the world, meet up with the amateur astronomers, and you'll find that you share a passion and inspiration that they all share. And the more I get to travel to other countries and do educational outreach and meet amateur astronomers, basically I hear the same song all the time, and I think that one of the other things is, as well, is that you meet people that you might not meet otherwise, okay? And I'm talking about people who are very influential in their fields of science and astronomy. Most amateur astronomers have met at least one astronaut, okay? Most of them have met people who've discovered something, The David Levy event, of course, is David Levy is an incredible discoverer of comets and asteroids and all the rest of it, but he's humble and just as enthusiastic about going out and just stargazing and seeing, if he sees a meteor streaking across the sky, he gets as excited as any of us, So you're in a fellowship of the best kind, and so it's an honor to be part of it with you. So I really appreciate you being here. Likewise, this community of Oracle is special. And we've just heard from Vince and Deborah, and now we're going to hear from Alicia Bristow. Alicia is a powerhouse of this community. She's the one that got hats made. She made sure that posters were distributed, postcards, all kinds of stuff. She really helped wrap this community around this event, and we're really, really proud to have her here. I'll let Alicia tell you more about it. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming this afternoon. Wonderful of you to attend this, and I know that registration and trying to figure out where everything is has been a little bit of a challenge. I want to thank Scott, first of all. I'm not necessarily that interested, or was not that interested in the stars. I mean, I was young once, and so looking at the stars and wondering when I was going to fall in love was probably the closest I got to it. But I have learned a great appreciation for what you folks are doing. Scott and his team have been great. Mike Wiesner came to me and said, we want to do a dark sky event. And I thought, okay, I'm big into events because of what I do here in town, and I'll explain that. But Mike Wiesner, I have, very graciously involved me in it. The center here has been very involved in it, and their staff. my own board, which is Own Oracle. It used to be Oracle Women's Network, and it's hard to shake that, that name. But when we became a nonprofit, we became Own Oracle. Our mission is to promote economic development in the community and the social well-being of the community. That means that we get involved in tourism, we get involved in all the businesses, we get involved in everything that happens in Oracle. Oracle, the Friends of Oracle State Park, and Deb, I've known Deb ever since I've lived here, so it's not new to me that they have gained more interest, and with Mike's work on the dark skies, it's been excellent. Oracle State Park, I remember when it was first established. We had a governor that brought a team in here and said, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And the whole community started just about throwing rocks at them and said, we don't want a Disneyland, we want a park, something that is in tune with who we are as a rural community. So I do remember those days in the 80s. And so I thank Vince for everything he's doing, and I'm so glad that Oracle State Park exists today. My late husband was the Game and Fish Director for a number of years, and when I met him, I was the director of the Arizona Commission on the Environment for 12 years. So we both had a really good appreciation for this area, and we worked in all things environmental. When we decided to retire, we looked around, and of course he thought about doing some ranching because he was from Oklahoma, and of course I wanted to stay in Arizona, so happy medium was to find Oracle. And so I was thrilled that we did. We built a home here. We've lived here for 20 years. My husband passed away two years ago now. But I wanted you to know that because I think I have such a healthy environment for the out of doors, hiking. I hunt. I know about wildlife management. I love to travel. And so when Mike came with this idea, because I work on so many events for Oracle anyway, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be fun. And it has been. It's been very exciting. Because I work with all the businesses and we all own, they're mom and pop businesses, they're not chain stores at all. So I'm fortunate enough to know every single business, every owner, what they do and when they do it. As I was telling Scott or someone here, living in a small community like this is a double-edged sword. One, you've got all the support with businesses helping one another and organizations helping one another. It's wonderful. But the double-edged sword is that everybody knows your business. So, but we all love it here and we make it work. I can honestly say we don't get along all the time, but we do the best that we can, and we mend fences along the way, and it's a great place to live and work. Most of us are volunteers, and we wear several hats. Sue and Jerry's Trading Post talk about wearing hats. They learned about the event, and they were late getting on board. We've got two like that. Rancho Robles, which is a historic ranch, and Sue and Jerry's Trading Post, which now has several businesses. They'll be holding things on Saturday as well. And I think Sue's is called the Bright Star Shopping Extravaganza thing, and Rancho Robles is doing its own thing in the evening on Saturday. We hope next year, as we have more time to plan, we'll be able to encompass more businesses, more people, and do better planning. You have to understand, and I hope that many of our businesses understand, we had this much of a time frame for throwing everything together. We didn't have a year or two to plan. And so I think we've done a great job considering what little time we had. Businesses to thank also, the patio, our locations on Friday night, the public part of it. And that was Scott's wonderful idea, because there's so many people that do know about astronomy, and I mean, they're very focused on what they want to do, they know. But the general public says, is that a planet? Is that a star? They don't know what they're looking at. In fact, I recently on my cell phone, somebody showed me how to load an application on, and I can hold it up to the stars, and it now tells me what planet that is and what constellation it is, gives it a name and everything. So I'm like a kid with a new toy running around here, and I have shared that with several other people. So that makes it fun. But we've got the patio. Well, I should start this into town because I always do. Nonna Maria's, great Italian restaurant, but they're going to have music, food, refreshments, 2 scopes, and experts to answer your questions. So we've been inviting the general public to come in. The next place will be here. They'll be doing this outside. They'll have the same thing, a different band, music, food, and refreshments here. And then the next place is the Patio Cafe, just down the street and across a ways. And we've, the guys, Mike and I think Scott, have gone and talked to them about the special lighting they need or don't need, how to make it as dark as possible. They, again, will have one of our local bands called the Mother Cody Band, and food and drinks, and they're really excited. My organization got money from our Oracle Ford dealership and Oracle Home and Land. That's been enough for me to give the bands money to pay for them, so we have music along the way everywhere. The last place will be the Orr House, Hilltop Orr House. All the businesses have been super cooperative, and I profusely thank, and if you get a chance to see Mark Phelps or Helen Vinson from Oracle Land and Home, please say thank you to those folks because they were kind enough. I went and knocked on their door, I pick up the phone and I say, hey, we're not having the gravel grinder this year, and last year you gave us a couple $1,000. Can you give us some money for this new event? Again, it's another positive about living in the smaller community. You can call and say, I need money for this or that, or I need art. Our raffle prizes are donated from the artists. Scott asked me, what do you have to go through? What's the process? I said, I pick up the phone or I knock on their door. It's a very easy process for us because we all know one another. I mentioned the time frame. Next year, we're going to plan better, maybe be bigger, put more of a team together to think about this. Mike has talked about a party on American Avenue. I'm thinking art in the park. I'm not sure how this will grow, but we'll do it together, I think. The other new term for me, which I really like, and I got to do a news release and use this term, and Mike introduced me to it, and that's astrotourism. Astrotourism hasn't been used in this area very much, but as I look out and now I'm learning about it, I see where it is being used. So let me tell you, I'm going to go to our Office of Tourism, the state office, and say, hey, we need money for this, or we need more exposure, and get their help to make this bigger and better. Same thing with the county. They've got tourism dollars. They're willing to give it to us if we can show that it's for something that's economically going to grow our community. So I think we'll be able to do that. We also have a casino right up the road. We now qualify for getting funds for them. And you can believe it, I'm going to hit them up for some casino money. By the federal government law, they have to give a percentage every year of what they make, and that has to go to local communities. We have never applied for any, none of that money has ever come to Oracle. They've been there for 4 years now. So this is a good reason for me to go after more funding. The Visitor Center. Our organization runs the Visitor Center. So if you get a chance, there is local art that's there for you to look at. We give free coffee, free water. There's a clean restroom. There's a walking path around it. We have lots of wildlife. Volunteers keep the yard up. Volunteers work in the Visitor Center. They should be there the whole time this event is going on. I also did a radio interview that Mike unfortunately could not do yesterday because he was so busy, and that was with NPR and PBS radio, and that's going to air on Thursday and Friday, and Tony told me he would call me and let me know when. So as soon as I know that, I'll let you guys know. last thing, and then I'll go like this, because I have a tendency to talk too much. Tonight, we have a reception, and you are all welcome to come if you like. It's at my home. I don't know how many of you have visited Oracle Homes. I'm pretty proud of my house because my husband built it for me. And it's a lot of wood, huge backyard. We're having margaritas, food catered in, and music. I hired a small band to come in, and that'll be in the great room and out on the patio. It's my address is 3939 West Linda Vista Road. I don't know, you can either plug that into your phones and it'll tell you where I am. I'm at the end of a dirt road. I'm on 11 acres. Great dark skies you're going to see from the patio. You can see the sunset. You can see Mount Lemmon and the Catalinas. That's my backyard. And there's no buildings anywhere back there. I'm surrounded by state land. So if you would like to come and join us, I invited all the Scott and his team, my nonprofit board members, the business people who are putting this on. I'm not sure they can come because most of them are working, but you guys certainly are welcome to come, and it's at 4 o'clock.
4:30. 4:30.
Is it 4:30? Is that what it says on there?
Okay, we'll say 4.
No, she says it's her house.
I have an electronic gate. It will be open, and the big gate on the top of it says Bristow, my last name, Bristow. And if you get lost, my telephone number is 520-241-1142, and someone will come and get you.
So just for the non-local people, you might have noticed a coffee shop that's not quite open yet. Here on American Avenue as you were coming towards the community center. Well, right, that intersection road, right beside the coffee shop, is Linda Vista. So
Hunter Circle's right there first, and then.
well, yeah, but it's right there. Yeah.
Well, you don't want to go into Hunter Circle, that's where the landmark is, and that's.
Well, yeah, you don't want to take the first drive. But that's where Linda Vista is, and then once you get on that, it winds around quite a bit.
But just stay
and
on
then you're
Linda
going
Vista.
to the end of the pavement, and then you'll be on the dirt road.
You will pass under some logs when it turns to a dirt road. It says Loma Linda. It's a housing area. They're all custom homes, and I think the smallest one is 3-point-something acres. I don't know. Anyway, we had 40 acres when we moved in, and now we're down to 11 and 7 someplace else. But anyway, yes. But you're all very welcome to come. Make yourself feel at home. I promise to put my chihuahuas in their crates. Thank you very much, and welcome to Oracle. And if you ever want to come back and you need to talk to me or want to find out where something is, please just come to the visitor center or use my telephone number. It's on 24/7. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, Alicia. That's great. Okay, well, we were broadcasting live, so now the world knows where. And unfortunately, she can't hold that many people. So anyways, but it should be a lot of fun for tonight. Hey, before we leave, I want to also thank the Tucson Astronomical Association. They're going to be participating and doing outreach with us. Starzona, that's right, our local dealer in town. And which one? Saddlebrook Skygazers. Yep, club. So they've all been recognized on our website, but I wanted to recognize them here as well. So it should be a lot of fun. You're going to meet people in the community, but out on the Oracle State Park, we basically own the park at night. Okay, so the area where we're set up with telescopes is actually also gated. There will be, we have 24-hour security, so to speak, and it should be a great experience for you. If you're an astrophotographer, we've got a group use area that has electricity, so if you need power, all of that stuff, we can supply that as well. We'll help you get set up. Anything else I'm missing, Vince?
The gate.
The gate?
is gonna be accessible simply because it's already, got folks in there for the event, and we are going to keep it unlocked.
This is the main gate.
At the main gate, at the exit side,
It may
Yeah.
look closed, but it's not.
Yeah, so
So you're
anyhow,
gonna have a security device called a stick to keep them closed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if
Well,
there's
thanks.
a lock on the gate, it'll be unlocked, pull it off.
Actually, it'll be totally locked.
guys, for you watching us live, we're wrapping it up right now. Really want to appreciate you tuning in. And if you're thinking about coming out here, you're pretty much local, there's still time to sign up or just to show up in Oracle and come down to one of the events. But we're going to sign off now, so thanks for watching.
Security.